Hi, so a bit of a different style today. I wanted to show you how object pooling in my game works, but first, let me show you what happens when I go to my character, pick the bow and arrow, and put my delay to a really low level, like 0.01. You'll notice when I start the game, I can shoot a lot of arrows really quickly, but this is only the start of it. Say, for example, you get an upgrade, which gives you multiple versions of this bow, and say I move them around a little just to show this. And this again, we can actually shoot a lot without a lot of lag in our game. We move around while doing this. It would get pretty laggy quickly if you did the usual pre-queue or delete object type of scripts. However, we are implementing object pooling so that we can have a lot of these objects. So to look at how this scene is laid out, we just have our player and we have a projectiles manager over here. The projectile manager is actually what's in charge of spawning the projectiles. So far these are all the different kinds of projectiles that we're spawning. The projectile manager handles filling all the pools and keeping them in a very clear data structure, while these are actually all the pools that we have. So for each projectile we have, we'd put them in its own data structure that keeps track of all of the projectiles. But more importantly, when we fill the pool, we're actually creating instances in memory of the projectile itself. And what's useful is that this is all the same kind of code. All we need to do is in our export variables, we can change what projectile we're using and how many we need to put in our pool size here. So here we have the functions for filling the pools that our projectile manager calls. Then this is where we store in all of the projectile instances into our array. And then once we spawn a projectile, we simply get from the array or the pool, then spawn it by adding it into the scene. If there's not enough in the pool, we can just expand the pool by creating a new instance. Each of the projectiles actually have a signal to say when they are about to sleep. And when it calls this signal, it will actually go back into our projectile manager, back into the pools, and then it will go through this function which will put the projectile or the arrow back into the pool and then remove the child from the scene, which allows us to again do a lot of the management of a lot of projectiles all at once. Whee!